Hi and welcome to Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. Today's video is a 60th celebration of the Beatles' Love Me Do single, so please come and join me. So hello again and welcome to another edition of Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. I really hope I find all you fantastic Beatles people doing really well out there, and thank you so much for joining me again today. Well, today's video is a 60th anniversary celebration of the one that started it all off in the UK back in October 1962, and of course it's the single Love Me Do. So imagine hearing that coming out of your transistor radio or radiogram back in the 1960s. I mean, that must have been an absolutely incredible experience to actually be there right at the start of something special, and it was going to take the listener on an absolutely fantastic musical journey right throughout the 1960s with the Beatles. Well, there's no Ask Beatle Dave today because we've got quite a lot to get through. However, though, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout-outs, and it's a great big Beatle Dave hello to Polo, hiya Paul, hope you're well, Pete Terry, ADJ Green, alias Adam, hiya Adam, Steel F100, Dean Allen, T in Liverpool, yes please, Bob's Old Records, and Somerset 4 Beatles Vinyl. So that's a great big hi to you guys from yours truly, Beatle Dave. So on to the main event then today, and I present to you a 60th anniversary celebration of the Beatles' Love Me Do single. So come and join me. Love Me Do is the first official debut single released by the Beatles in the UK on the 5th of October 1962, where it eventually peaked at number 17 in the charts. Written several years before it was eventually recorded and before the existence of the Beatles, the song features John Lennon's prominent harmonica playing and a duet vocal with Paul McCartney. 3 recorded versions exist of Love Me Do, each with a different drummer. Firstly, the 6th of June version, which featured Pete Best, was released on Anthology 1 in 1995. The second version, featuring Ringo Starr, Pete's replacement, was recorded on the 4th of September 1962 and was the original Parlophone single release. Finally, session drummer Andy White was brought in for the 11th of September 1962 recording, which ended up on the Please Please Me album and is probably the most well-known version. The simple 3-chord song features Everly Brothers style harmonies and Lennon playing his bluesy harmonica. Paul sings the unaccompanied title phrase solo, something which was only changed at the recording session by George Martin as John's harmonica encroached on the title vocal. The 6th of June artist test version featuring Pete Best was not considered impressive by George Martin or Ron Richards for future sessions. The change in drum rhythm during the middle 8, then moving to a skip beat, basically sealed his fate in the band. On the 16th of August 1962, Pete Best was called to NEMS for a meeting with Brian Epstein. Pete was told that the boys wanted him out of the group and Ringo to join. He was also told that they felt he wasn't a good enough drummer. According to Bill Harry, Johnny Hutchinson was initially offered the position but refused as Pete was his friend and wouldn't do the dirty on him. However, he did drum for the Beatles on the evening of the day Pete Best was sacked. The Beatles flew down to London on the 4th of September to now record Love Me Do once again. However, George Martin, with other ideas, wanted the Beatles to record the Mitch Murray song How Do You Do It for their first single. Although attempted at this session, Please Please Me wasn't quite up to scratch, and George Martin explained that unless the Beatles could write songs as good as How Do You Do It, then they wouldn't get their songs issued. Once again, George Martin was not satisfied with these sessions, and on the 11th of September, the Beatles re-recorded Love Me Do, this time with session drummer Andy White on drums and Ringo on tambourine. P.S. I Love You was also recorded at this session with Andy White on drums again and maracas for Ringo. Eventually, after editing and mixing, it was decided that the version with Ringo playing drums would be the Beatles' first UK Parlophone single. The rest, as they say, is history. So let's take a look. So here it is then, the Beatles' debut single in the UK, the one that started it all off for the lads. Love Me Do, released on Parlophone Records on the 5th of October 1962, catalogue number 45, which is the prefix if it was a 45 or a 78, and R4949. So we're going to start then with the original Love Me Do, which I've got here on the red Parlophone label, and you've got the Ringo version on this particular single, of course. So here we are. This is the actual sleeve that it came in when I bought it many years ago, probably going on for about 30 odd. But this is the one it came with, and it's in really great condition. Lovely sleeve, nice colourful sleeve. On the back there you've got try these wonderful LPs of your favourite artists on Parlophone. Of course you've got the likes of Beyond the Fringe, The Best of the Goons, and you've got Sophia Loren and Peter Sellers, amongst others, Adam Faith of course. At the bottom there you've got the EMI Records Limited details with the trademark, Hayes Middlesex, England, and this record must be played at 45 RPM. So let's flip that back over and take a look at the record then. And this record itself is in absolutely beautiful condition, really nice. Of course there you've got the Parlophone company around the rim there, with the recording first published 1962 on the left. On the right there you've got the trademark Parlophone logo, made in Great Britain. Some copies don't have the made in Great Britain, but this one does. Then you've got the prefix there, 45 and R4949, with the Love Me Do at the bottom, Lennon McCartney and the Beatles. And this is in absolutely tremendous condition, this one, really beautiful. Only had several plays since I've had it. Let's flip that over to the B-side, which obviously is P.S. I Love You. Once again though you've got that Parlophone company on the perimeter, with the recording first published details on the left, and you've got that trademark on the right with the Parlophone logo and made in Great Britain, with the number on the right there, the 45R4949 catalogue number. Then at the bottom there you've got P.S. I Love You, Lennon McCartney and the Beatles. The one that started it all off. Absolutely incredible. So moving on then to the second pressing of Love Me Do, which I've got here. This particular version came out in about autumn 1963 on Parlophone Records, catalogue number R4949. And once again we've got the Ringo version on this particular single. This one's in great condition as well. You've got the green Parlophone bag there, good condition. On the back there you've got the Emitex details top right, with the record tokens on the left. Of course you've got that important information about playing this single. And you've got record mail details, trademark at the bottom with the EMI Records Limited, Hayes Middlesex, England. And of course this record must be played at 45 RPM. So let's take a look at the actual 45. This one's in beautiful condition as well. These are getting much more difficult to find, these from 1963. Really difficult to find. Of course on the left you got the Parlophone company on the perimeter there around the outside, with the recording first published 1962 there on the left, and on the right we've got the 45 RPM and R4949 catalogue number. And of course at the bottom Love Me Do with Lennon and McCartney underneath, the Beatles and made in Great Britain. So let's flip that over then. Of course you got P.S. I Love You on the B-side. You got the Parlophone company on the perimeter again there, with the recording first published 1962, and on the right there got the 45 RPM with the R4949, and P.S. I Love You with Lennon McCartney, the Beatles and made in Great Britain. Obviously not many people realise that actually Ringo played maracas on this track, and Andy White was once again the drummer on this particular song. So fast forwarding then to 1976 is this fourth pressing of Love Me Do. and this was released on the 6th of March 1976 on Parlophone Records, catalogue number R4949. And you could have actually bought this single separately or as part of the green box set or the black box set, the Beatles collection of course. And then we've got the actual Andy White version now, which has been substituted on this particular single. These are really great sleeves, these are really brilliant, they're so good quality. Of course there you've got the Beatles with the trademark Parlophone and Apple logos there above that. And the Beatles collection 1962 to 1970. The catalogue number on the right. And of course Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. At the bottom there we've got the EMI Records details, Hayes, Middlesex. And there we've got the picture of the guys there, which is synonymous with the promotion of Love Me Do of course. And at the top there you've got Love Me Do coupled with P.S. I Love You. Great picture of the guys in their Edwardian suits. Right, let's take a look at the single. And this one obviously is in fabulous condition. You've got the black Parlophone logo as well there, with the EMI Records Limited on the perimeter and the Made in Great Britain on the perimeter also. Of course you've got Love Me Do, Lennon McCartney, the Beatles, and an EMI box logo there. Let's flip that over. Once again there you've got the EMI Records and the Made in Great Britain on the perimeter, with the Parlophone logo there at the top. And you've got the P.S. I Love You, Lennon McCartney, the Beatles, and the EMI box logo. And these do really sound great, these pressings, really nice. So moving on then to the fifth pressing of Love Me Do, and this is actually the 1982 20th anniversary edition, and this is actually part of the Royal Blue Box, the Beatles singles collection, and it was sold separately on the 4th of October 1982, so nearly 20 years to the day, on Parlophone Records R4949. And this is once again the Andy White version. So we've got a fabulous little sleeve there, really nice, great picture of the guys with the Beatles at the top and Love Me Do there. Let's flip that over. Of course, got another great photo of the guys in those Edwardian suits with the Beatles, Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, and the catalogue number top right. And at the bottom there we've got the Parlophone and EMI logos. So let's take a look at that single, of course. And we've got a replica red label just like the original. Some slight differences on this particular one. You've got MPL Communications on the left as the publishing company of course. And you've got original sound recordings made by EMI Records. And this time you've got producer George Martin on the left as well, he gets a credit on this one. And on the right there you've got trademark with Made in Great Britain and the 45R4949 and mono. With Love Me Do there, Lennon McCartney and the Beatles. Just going to flip that over. Once again on the left you've got the MPL Communications and the EMI Records details on the left, with the George Martin details as well. Then on the right there you've got trademark, Parlophone logo and Made in Great Britain, with the 45R4949 and mono. Then at the bottom there we've got P.S. I Love You, Lennon McCartney and the Beatles. This pressing does sound pretty good. It's a nice pressing to have, this one. So in 1982, alongside the Love Me Do reissue 45, EMI released this picture disc version on the 4th of October 1982 on Parlophone Records catalogue number RP4949. And obviously this was the first in all the picture disc editions that they did of the 20th anniversaries. Obviously this released just one day out, but these are great to collect. These are absolutely superb, these. You can't play them too many times, but they're certainly nice to have in your collection. At the top there you've got the catalogue number with side A and of course the Beatles and that fabulous picture. And they're going to flip that over. Of course you've got the catalogue number again at the top with Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You, with the EMI Records and Parlophone details on the right. Of course I did a video showing all of the 20th anniversary picture discs, which I'll put on the screen now. So in 1982 then, alongside the 7-inch version and the picture disc version, EMI released this 12-inch version of Love Me Do, and this was released on the 4th of October 1982 on Parlophone Records catalogue number 12R4949. And of course this possibly is the very first Beatles 12-inch single ever released. Of course you've got an extra edition of the Love Me Do with Ringo on drums, of course, in this particular version. Got the same photo as on the 7-inch version and the picture disc there. Going to flip that over, and there we've got all the details at the top there. You've got the catalogue number top right, then we've got the Beatles, side 1 Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You, and side 2 the original single version. Then at the bottom there we've got some details on Love Me Do with Parlophone and EMI bottom right. Then also we've got this die cut inner sleeve which you got with your, well, most copies of Love Me Do, which is really great. It's really nice, that. Then onto the vinyl then itself, and once again you've got that replica red Parlophone label there. Really great, really nice. Of course you've got the A side on the left there with the MPL Communications details. Got the George Martin credit and the 45 RPM. And on the right there you've got trademark with the Made in Great Britain and the catalogue number 12R4949 with the mono details there. And then you've got Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, Lennon McCartney, the Beatles. Let's flip that over. Then on the second side, of course, you've got the B side on the left with the MPL Communications details, produced by George Martin, and 45 RPM. Then on the right you've got the trademark, Made in Great Britain, with 12R4949 and mono. And of course this version is Love Me Do, original single version, Lennon McCartney, the Beatles. 40 years old, this is in really great condition. So the next variation of Love Me Do then is this 3-inch CD single which was released on the 28th of November 1988, catalogue number CD3R4949. And this is actually part of the Beatles 3-inch CD singles collection, which was released the following year after they'd actually released all the little singles in batches, and EMI in their wisdom decided to put the whole lot together with a lovely little box, which actually you could actually write to EMI for and get the box separately, which was £5. So we're going to take a look at the little disc. These are really superb. I did actually show this particular box set actually at some point on the channel, so you can check that one out. So yeah, really superb little picture. Same sort of picture they used on most of these issues. Unfortunately you got the barcodes that they started to add in the 80s in the UK. And then you got the Beatles Love Me Do with Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. They're the 2 tracks. And original sound recordings made by EMI Records Limited, produced by George Martin. And of course top right you got mono, and at the bottom you got Parlophone and the EMI Records details. And here's the little gatefold sleeve, really fantastic there. And the 3-inch CD single, both tracks in mono of course. So the next variation of Love Me Do is this cassette single which was released on the 12th of August 1991, catalogue number TCR4949. And it was actually part of the Beatles cassette singles collection, and it was actually sold separately as well. And this has got Andy Wyatt version on it as well as the previous 3-inch CD single which I showed just a moment ago. But these are really great. I mean, they probably cost about £2.50 each, I believe. But I mean, I bought the whole set when it came out, which is also on the channel as well, if you want to check that one out. So let's just turn that over. Of course, you've got the Beatles there, Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, produced by George Martin, of course. Unfortunately, you've got that barcode at the bottom there again, with the Parlophone logo and an Apple logo this time. But by that point, all the affairs had been sorted out, which is why the Apple Records logo was reintroduced. And there's the spine. Of course, these are all chrome cassettes. These are really great. Let's take a look at the cassette. And they've got 2 tracks running on both sides for convenience, of course. You've got the Parlophone logo top right with the Beatles, Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You, with the catalogue number and all the copyright details on the left. And exactly the same on the other side. So the next variation then of Love Me Do is this 5-inch CD single Digipack type, which was released on the 5th of October 1992, exactly 30 years to the day, and the catalogue number is Parlophone CDRS 4949. And it's a great little Digipack type, really nice. Got that same photo again with the Beatles there and Love Me Do. And on the back there, of course, you've got that compact disc digital audio there on the left, top left, with the Beatles. You've got that barcode again and all the information on the right there with Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, and of course the bonus original single version. On the left there, you've got the Apple logo and of course the Parlophone logo bottom right. You've got some information there from Mark Lewison there of the complete Beatles Chronicle. And of course you've got that fabulous looking disc there. Really nice looking disc. So on the same day, EMI released this CD single in a dual case version. And this was released on the 5th of October 1992, catalogue number CDRX4949. And I'm not quite sure why they did that, because it's a bit bizarre. You've got a dual case version and a Digipack version, but I think the Digipack version is slightly better. So then you've got the same picture as the previous one. Got the Beatles and Love Me Do there. And on the back there we've got that barcode with the track listings. And you've got the Apple and the Parlophone logo there, which is the other way around. And then we got that spine, if you can see that, just about. Of course on the inside, same details. Beatles, Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You, and the original single version of Love Me Do. And of course you've got that red disc, that really looks superb, that really nice. So the final CD version I'm going to show then is this 5-inch CD single, which was released on the 2nd of November 1992, and it was actually part of the Beatles CD singles collection. And this one is just in a card sleeve, as you can see. This has got the Andy White version on it as well. But these are quite nice. These are really nice and glossy, these little covers. Really great. You've got that barcode on the right there at the back there with the Beatles, Love Me Do, and P.S. I Love You. Of course, you've got the original sound recordings made by EMI Records Limited, 1962. And you've got that Apple and Parlophone logos there down the bottom. The actual disc itself is like a silk screened type. I've shown these before as well. These are really great, these, really nice looking. So back to some vinyl then, and we've got the 30th Anniversary USA White Promo Edition, which was released in 1992, and the catalogue number to this is 7PRO-79551-2. And this is the Ringo Starr version on this particular pressing. So you've got the same picture cover as the 1982 UK one there. Slight differences there, you've got the promotional catalogue number there, and on the bottom left you've got the Apple, Capital, some copyright details, and of course the Parlophone logo bottom right there. And then we've got this little postcard from Capital there which came with it. So let's just flip that over. And it says, "Dear Beatle fan, thank you for taking part in the 30th Anniversary Beatles promotion. Capitol Records is proud to present to you a limited edition vinyl copy of the Beatles' first single, Love Me Do. The enthusiastic dedication of fans like yourself is a testament to the enduring popularity of the Beatles' music. Sincerely, Capitol Records." There. We've got the white promotional record of Love Me Do. And this is absolutely fantastic. Really nice edition of this. Got the promotional details top right there. You've got the timing of the song. And it says top side on the left. You've got the promotional number, of course, as well, with the Apple and the Parlophone there. And the Beatles logo, of course. And Love Me Do, original single version. Of course, you've got that Capitol Dome at the top. It's a really great pressing, this one. Really nice. And that's the B-side then, or the flip side as it says on the single, with the promotional number there. And you've got the Apple and Parlophone logos. Got the timing of the song, and for promotional use only, not for sale. And you've got the Beatles at the bottom with P.S. I Love You. Really nice, this one. So moving on then to another USA edition which I've got here, and this is the Capital Cema Special Markets edition, which was released on the 19th of October 1992, catalogue number S756785. And I have shown these before, these particular special market jukebox singles, and these are really great. So there we are, we've got the Capitol Dome up there with the for jukeboxes only on the left. And on the right, you've got the catalogue number with the Cema Special Markets details and the timing. And of course, you've got Love Me Do, Lennon McCartney, and the Beatles. And this is the Ringo version on this particular pressing as well. Then on the B-side there, course you've got a capital dome with the jukeboxes only on the left for jukeboxes only. And on the right there you've got the catalogue number, Cema special markets, and the timing again, with P.S. I Love You, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles. These are really fabulous to collect, these jukebox singles. So the next version of Love Me Do, which you've got here then, is another capital Cema Special Markets edition. This was actually a mispressing when they put 300 of the red biscuits in before the black vinyl version. They realised the mistake and they stopped the presses and basically got rid of these through a distributor the following year in March 1993. So basically the catalogue number of this edition is the same as the last, which is S756785. And once again it's the Ringo Starr version of the single, but these are much rarer, being that there's only 300 of these copies ever pressed. And these are really great, really nice. Of course you've got the for jukeboxes only on the left there. On the right you've got the catalogue number and the Cema special markets with the timing, and Love Me Do, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles at the bottom. It's a really nice translucent red actually, like a strawberry red. Once again there you've got the for jukeboxes only on the left, with the capital special markets Cema and the catalogue number on the right with the timing, and the P.S. I Love You, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles. Absolutely brilliant, these. So on to the 50th anniversary then of Love Me Do, which was released on the 5th of October 2012, exactly 50 years to the day. Catalogue number 45R4949. Let's take a look at the actual single then. And they've replicated the Parlophone wavy line sleeve actually really nicely there. It's quite a hard card though, but it looks really good. Then on the back there you've got that barcode there top right, and at the bottom you've got the EMI records and Hayes Middlesex details, as well as this record must be played at 45 RPM. Let's take a look at the vinyl then. And the actual silver text is a lot duller than the repressing they did after this one. But you've got the Parlophone logo at the top there, with the MPL Communications details on the left, with the recording first published 1962. Then on the right you've got the trademark and the Parlophone logo, with the 45R4949 under that. And of course you've got Love Me Do, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles. And obviously this being the Andy White version. Then on side 2, once again, you've got the MPL Communications on the left, with the recording first published 1962, with the trademark and Parlophone logo, with the 45R4949 catalogue number under that. Of course you've got P.S. I Love You, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles. So moving on then to the corrected version of the 50th anniversary of Love Me Do. Obviously this has the Ringo Starr version on the A side, and this was released on the 22nd of October 2012 on Parlophone Records, catalogue number R4949. Let's take a look at the actual single then. And of course they've replicated that Parlophone wavy line sleeve once again. And on the back you got that barcode top right, and all the other EMI records and Hayes Middlesex details there at the bottom. And this must be played at 45 RPM of course. Take a look at the actual vinyl then. Of course all the Parlophone text and everything is really silver, really stands out, as opposed to the one on previous one which is a bit duller. But of course you've got the Parlophone logo across the top, and on the left you've got the MPL Communications details. And of course the recording first published 1962 there, with the trademark, the Parlophone logo, with the 45R4949 under that, with the Love Me Do, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles at the bottom there. Of course the Ringo Starr single version on this disc. I'm going to flip that over, and one thing I forgot to mention is that on this single and the previous one they both have on the B side the incorrect catalogue number. On this it's actually R4714, which is totally incorrect when it should be R4949. So obviously they didn't correct that when they repressed the single. So once again on the left there you've got the MPL Communications details with the recording first published 1962. Then on the right you've got the trademark with the Parlophone logo, and under that there you've got the 45R4714, which is obviously incorrect. Then at the bottom there you've got the P.S. I Love You, Lennon-McCartney and the Beatles. So the final Love Me Do then I'm going to show today as part of the 60th anniversary special which I've done is this particular one which was released as part of the singles box set on the 22nd of November 2019, and this edition has Ringo on the drums as well, the single version. A great Tolly sleeve there, this is quite a rare one. Of course you've got the Beatles there with Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You, and of course you've got that drawing of the guys there, exactly the same on the back. And then we're going to take a look at the single. Of course, these are really great. These got like a, you've even got a spine on these. It's absolutely fantastic, these singles. Have showed these before. But let's take a look at the actual single itself. You've got Tolly Records there with Love Me Do. Of course, you've got on this particular single, you've got McCartney, Lennon. And you've got the Beatles there, of course. And then on side 2, Tolly Records again with P.S. I Love You, McCartney, Lennon again, and the Beatles. These are really great little singles, these. So thank you all for tuning in today, guys, and joining me. And I really hope you've enjoyed this 60th anniversary special edition of the Beatles' Love Me Do single. And don't forget, as always, I appreciate any comments or communication I get from any of you Beatle people, and I'll always endeavour to reply to you just as soon as I can. So don't forget to join me this Sunday for the Beatles' original UK album series update. So please make sure you're here, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel. So anyway, as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is Beatle Dave signing off on this 60th anniversary of the Beatles' Love Me Do. Beatle Dave's Beatles channel.